on the, I don't see Justin here, and I met with him today, and I think we may have confused the dates. I spoke to him concerning the special meeting on the 7th, and unless something else had come up, his plan is pretty detailed and it's in front of you.
Yeah.
What I could do is hold that off, because I know we went over some of these items, and he was looking to speak on these items. So unless he got confused in reference to the March 7th meeting that I was talking to him about also.
We're going to do more budget discussions than March 7th, so we'll just bring them back.
Also, the first aid squad, I spoke with them today. They have, they're looking at some of their own funds, but they would like that opportunity to also come back and discuss it with you
That's
on
fine.
March 7th. You also have recreation in front of you, and that's only one item.
Is Justin going to do Public Works? Or
Justin was going to do Public Works and wastewater.
Okay, I meant wastewater, because, did I see Marriott?
Mario's here. I don't think he was here for this matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I did spend a lot of time with Justin on it today.
Okay,
That's
fine,
why.
great.
There was one or two items on there. Some are grant-related, of grants that we're applying for, and some of this, and his stuff is match money too. But we have, obviously, we can, have him come in on the 7th and go over that in detail. Recreation had one item, the Hoyer and Hoyer property, which the township purchased about 3 years ago off of Valley Road. The Recreation Department would like to start putting money towards it or fund it so they could use it for recreational purposes. I know Justin spent some time with Donna Mallory on it, just seeing what could fit and what would work. Looking at some of the wetland areas there and kind of juggle around a situation and came up with numbers. And Donna had basically provided you one item that she liked. I know she struggles with field usage, and obviously we don't have the number of fields for requests, but she does a fair job of trying to coordinate that. So she's looking for that. I know the mayor and I spoke about the open space tax. I mean, while it's not used for acquisition today, there's always a possibility to entertain a referendum on that to allow it to be used for development and rehabilitation of facilities, because we're at the point where we have an available and needed location. We just don't have the funds to develop it.
We couldn't verify whether or not the open space fund currently could fund maintenance and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we can verify that, but it was not included in the original.
It was not included, so I'm saying it was not.
Can be excluded.
Can be.
Right.
But it was not included intentionally by the township committee at that time.
Okay. So what does the open space fund presently cover? Just purchase?
Acquisition.
That's it?
Right.
And
the historic.
Historic.
Oh, no, but the historic, I know the historic is
And the
separate.
soft.
Recreation
I'm talking just the open space.
acquisition.
And the soft cost for
Didn't
acquisition.
I see that there's a deadline, what is it, March 7th, is it, for a referendum?
No, it's actually August, because it would be on the general election ballot.
Yeah, we started last year in the summertime.
Right. It's got to
We
be in
did
by
that.
August.
I saw something about
Well, that
a
may be
new
the primary.
deadline.
I think that was a referendum if you planned on going over the cap.
Oh,
I think you saw that.
Okay, that's great, thank you.
Yeah.
But for the general election, it's
Well,
August.
I think we should put on the referendum then to expand the use of that open space fund, because, I mean, we've had, what do we have in there now?
It was over 250,000.
The open space fund, isn't it?
It's 300.
was
I'm
great.
sorry, 250 a year. It's over $1 million.
Yeah,
Right.
I
about
apologize.
about a million,
Right.
150, I think, right now.
And how long have, the open space committee, you're on that open space
I
committee?
was.
You was?
Yeah.
And
I
you guys are,
I
in-
am.
is there anything on the horizon for the open space committee?
There's wish lists, but there's
There's nothing pending.
nothing available at this
Well,
moment.
we should consider whether,
Well, maybe we can,
the same way we did for historic, preservation of historic buildings, which includes not only purchase, but also, upkeep and maintenance.
Yep.
Refurbishing.
I think we should have it as a discussion item, maybe at
Yeah.
our next meeting.
Great, let's do that.
It's easy to do, we just track the language of the statute to allow additional permitted uses.
So let's do a little research, see what we need to do, and we'll take it up some more.
Great. I think that covered our capital.
I think it did.
On the capital, just so we know, is presently we have $70,481 in our CIF fund, which is the down payment that's required for debt, basically.
What was that number again?
$70,481, which would give us about $1.4 million of available capital, if my math is correct, without doing anything else in the current fund budget this year. Obviously, the current fund budget, if that's adjusted, then it increases your ability.
All right, anything else on capital?
I do not.
Okay. Can we go on to the De Silva Mazza matter?
Yes, Mayor. Would you like me to?
Yes. Or is Mr. Mazza and Mr. De Silva here? I see Mr. Mazza. Any of the De Silvas here?
He's not.
No? Okay. Well, let's go ahead.
Yes, Mayor. Pursuant to our earlier discussions, I went ahead and ordered title searches on the properties and on Carroll Lane and Emmanuel Street. It turned out to be a fairly complicated search because of the fact that these properties were all subdivided back in the 30s and were part of the original Homestead Park subdivision. The bottom line is that it appears that both the De Silvas and the Mazzas own to the center line of the paper street known as Carroll Lane. The other thing is the name of Carroll Lane changed over time, too. It wasn't really a record as to when that was done or how, but in any event, it's now Carroll Lane. So the law in this area is somewhat complicated, and people don't always understand it, and we went into it a little at the last meeting, is although the street is dedicated and becomes a paper street, it doesn't become a real street until it's accepted by the township, which can be by formal action of the township committee or the fact that it's been improved and used over the years. That was never done here, so it's remained a paper street. But the township does not own the paper street. The property owners own the paper street subject to the right of the public to pass over that paper street. So in this case, both the De Silvas and the Mazzas own to the center line of Carroll Lane. So there are several options. In my opinion, since the abutting property owners own the property, they can use that property at their own risk, so that the driveway that's on now can remain there, and I don't see any problem with it. If at some point in the future the road was to be improved and accepted, then we could take that out.
Unless we vacate the street.
Right, unless, and that was my next point. And also, I believe that a fence could be placed along that paper street, the same as any other property owned, again, at your own risk. If at some point in time in the future the street is improved and becomes a real public street, then the fence would have to come down and they don't have any rights. Now, the other option is to vacate a public street. And again, because we don't own it, we don't sell it to the property owners. All we do is vacate the public's right to use it as a right-of-way. In that case, it appears that the property would revert half to one side and half to the other. So both the De Silvas and the Mazzas would get 25 feet of the right-of-way. And I'd like to make that clear on the record, is that we do vacate it. We're not making any representation as to title. We're just giving up the public's right, and then it would be up to them. Based on the searches we have, it does appear that the center line would be the dividing line between the two properties.
By the way, were the De Silvas notified about the meeting tonight?
When we canceled our 14th meeting, we advised them, well, I don't know if Anna spoke directly with them, but they were advised that the matter would be continued at the next meeting. So I don't know if she had left a message or actually spoke to them, but when we canceled the last meeting, the same as Mr. Mazza, we had just left a message that it was canceled and would be continued at the next meeting, and the date of the next meeting.